Okay guys, tonight Dad's 2004 2500 HD with the LB7 Duramax Allison transmission, 5-speed. It's gonna get new filters. We're gonna do the internal filter and we're gonna do the spin-on external filter. This should be pretty easy, guys. We got a drain plug, so we won't make too much of a mess getting it out. Also, GM has designed this to where you can get at all the bolts. There really is no hidden bolts or hard to access bolts, so thank you GM for doing that. So pretty much take the bolts off, or drain the fluid, take the bolts off, take the pan off. So that's going to give us access to that internal filter. We're going to clean the pan up. We're going to change the filter out, new gasket. Should be pretty basic. I have cleaned up around the pan there a little bit, so we're not dropping dirt everywhere when we're trying to put the new pan up there. So I've cleaned it up. It ain't too bad. Dad's truck ain't too bad, but this has got some sort of grit or dirt all over it. I'm not sure if that's road stuff. It looks like road grime maybe. Stuff they're spraying on the roads. Anyway, cleaned up around the bolts and above the pan a little bit. So I'm gonna start draining this. Gonna pull out the drain plug there. And we're going to let it drain for a while. Okay, so now that I got it all drained, I put the drain plug back in. It's been draining for a little while. I'm going to zip all these bolts off. Okay, so I got one bolt remaining here. So I'm going to try and try to take it off without getting transmission fluid all over me. Okay, it's stuck up there, so I'm going to have to get a pry bar here. Okay, so there's quite a bit of fluid I hear still in there. So I'm gonna try to get this down. Okay, the filter just fell out. Well, there goes the gasket. Okay, so we're going to get the spin-on filter next. I don't really know how much fluid this is going to have in it, being I just drained everything, so. And it is going to have fluid in it. Okay guys, so the pan here is in the parts washer. I'm going to be cleaning that up so it's nice and clean before we put it back on. I'll show you the filter and fluid I'm going to use. So here's what I'm using, guys, for this job. I've got a new filter. It comes with a new gasket. This is a Wix, so also got some full synthetic automatic transmission fluid, and the new spin-on filter, and then bottle of Lucas to go in there. This transmission's got over 300,000 miles, so we're going to drop some Lucas in there. We've got some oil. I'm doing an oil change too. But these are the parts I'm using. Gonna get that pan all cleaned up, and then we're going to install the new filter. Okay guys, so these transmission filters are pretty much the same in most transmissions. They're shaped like this. They got a tube that goes up, and this goes up into the transmission. One thing you're gonna want to make sure when you're changing this filter is that you get the old seal out of the transmission. Sometimes it'll stay in there. You want to make sure you get it out. And then you're going to lube up this new seal with fresh automatic to help it slide in there. If you're struggling to get it in there, guys, just take your time. You do not want to wreck this seal. So get it nice and lubed up and slide it up in there. You just push it up in there. There's nothing holding it. It just gets pushed up in there. So I've got the filter ready to go. I just need some automatic on my seal. Got my pan all cleaned up here, and it is ready. I got the seal on it, the new seal. I'm not really liking the new seal here. The factory seal had steel inserts, so you didn't or you didn't crush the gasket. This one does not have that. It's a little cheaper. But this is what I've got. I've got to get it on today. So I've put some bolts in place around the pan. The holes in the gasket are a little smaller than the bolts. So you just push your bolts in there, and that will hold your gasket in place. Most of this newer stuff, they don't really want you adding gasket material or gasket maker or anything on your seals. So I'm not going to put any of that on there. Just going to put it up there just like it is. Okay, so just wanted to give you a close up here of this transmission, the inside of it. If you've never seen one. The hole where your tube goes in is right there. And you see there is no seal up there anymore. It came out with the old one. But you can see we've got transmission fluid still dripping, and it's the next day. You're going to want to make sure your sealing surface where the gasket goes is nice and clean, guys. But that's it. I'm going to Get my filter up in there. Okay guys, wanted to give you a shot of this filter in there and fully seated. You can see it goes up in there and it's a dead stop. When it's fully seated, you can't see the seal anymore. So now that this is up in there, the pan can be bolted down. Okay guys, so now the spin-on filter, and just like you would an oil filter, a little bit of fresh automatic on the seal. There's supposed to be a magnet in here. There was no magnet in the old filter when I took it off, so I don't know what happened to the magnet, but there's supposed to be a round magnet in here, guys. You got to take it from your old filter, put it in this one, just to let you know. So I'm going to install this. I'll have to order the magnet and we'll have to swap it in, I guess, once we get it, but I got to get it in there right now. Okay guys, so I'm going to torque my pan bolts. I don't have a Allison manual, so I'm not exactly sure the exact torque, but the 4L80 transmission, the pan bolts are to be torqued to 97 inch-pounds. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. If anybody knows, I guess leave it in the comments, and I can always retorque them, but I'm going to go with 97 inch-pounds right now. Okay guys, so along with the transmission filter change, I'm going to be doing the front diff. You're going to need 7590. We're going to go full synthetic in there, and it's pretty easy. I mean, you've got the drain right here on your front end, and you got the fill right here. So drain it out and then fill it up till you're at the top of the plug there. Okay, so I'm going to use this bolt pump here that I got. I'm going to fill the differential with the fluid. I'm going to pump it in there. A whole lot easier than trying to get it up in there and try to pour it in using these deals. And I'm just going to pump it in there till that top bolt or the top hole, the fluid starts running out of it, and then we'll seal her up. Okay, here's the bottom bolt, the drain plug, and it's got a magnet on it. You're going to want to clean that magnet off. This one had quite a bit of junk on it, but you want to clean that off and inspect for, I mean, huge chunks. You got a problem, but it's probably going to be full of crud, especially with this old of a truck. This is the top plug. This is going to be your fill plug. Again, you're going to fill it up until it runs out of that hole, and then you'll be full. Okay guys, so I just filled the differential with fluid, and I've been greasing the front end here, and I look down and there's a leak. Okay, so I look up here, right there's the leak. A little closer look here, and you can see that those bolts are loose on the front diff that holds it together there. And what's worse even yet is if you go look up there, it's missing a bolt. So these bolts on this axle have come loose somehow. I'm going to tighten them down. Hopefully I'm going to find another bolt for up there. See if I can't get it back together and stop leaking. Okay guys, so I got all the bolts tight. The top one up there was pretty tight. You can't see it, but that one was pretty tight. It's pretty much the only thing holding this thing together. I got a new bolt up there. So not sure what the deal is with this. I've never really heard of this issue, but I will be checking my other trucks. Further inspection. We've got that bolt there was loose. I had to tighten that up. This front end's never been out of this truck, never been worked on, so not sure. None of them bolts should have been touched. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Dad's truck, the front end being all loose. But looks like we might have a leak happening there. So This front end might need some work, but that's another day. I got everything buttoned up here, so I'm gonna drop her down and we're gonna start filling her with fluid. Okay, back on the ground. First we're gonna add the oil. I'm doing an oil change here. Then we're gonna add automatic, and then we're gonna fire her up. Okay guys, so I got the oil in there. I've got the transmission fluid in there. I believe it's 2.5 gallons for the oil, and I've got close to that. And the guy at the auto parts store said 7.2 quarts, and I put 8 quarts in. I think I might have overfilled it. I'm hoping with the transmission, the filter change, that I don't have too much in there, but we'll see. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to pressurize the oil system, and I'm going to check that. I'm going to get that squared away. I know I got enough automatic in the transmission. And then we'll deal with the transmission. But first thing, I'm going to deal with the engine oil. Okay guys, so now I got my engine oil figured out. I'm going to fire this up. We're going to do a cold check on the transmission fluid. I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to run it through all the gears, then put it in park, and we're going to check the fluid level. Should be on the cold mark on the dipstick. Okay guys, so I'm going to continue off camera to get this filled up. I got 8.5 quarts in there. I'm going to do another fluid check, run it through the gears and idling, and I'll let you know what happens here. Okay guys, finally got this thing topped off, and I got 10 quarts in this thing to get it to the cold mark. I'm not sure what the auto parts store is talking about, 7.2. But I mean, I did a filter change. I don't know if the filter can suck up that much fluid or not, but about 10 quarts is what it takes. So I'm going to take this thing out, and we're going to get the transmission hot, and we're going to check it again, see how she drives. Well guys, that's going to do it for me. I went for a test drive, got her warm, and she's on the hot mark of the dipstick. So it looks like about 10 quarts you're going to need for an Allison 5-speed with the filter change. And I let this thing drip all night, so I'm sure every bit of fluid just about come out of the thing. So 10 quarts and everything's looking good. So I crawled under there. I got no leaks from the gasket or the filters or anything, so we are good to go. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.